All right, welcome back to Rugby Rundown. This is going to be my breakdown of the third Bledisoe Cup match between Australia and the All Blacks. The final score was 43-5, and the All Blacks just put on a masterclass. So I'm just going to give my basic thoughts, just going to go through basically the game sheet, thoughts on some of the tries, some of the big moments, and that's where we're at. Sorry this is so late, but I figured as long as it comes out before the next match this Saturday, we're good. Again, sorry for the delay. Anyways, diving right into it. Game starts. This is the decider if All Blacks win, which, spoiler, as I already said, they did. 3 minutes into the match, yellow card to Australia. Filippo Dauganu, I can't say his last name, hits Caleb Clark in the air, gets sent off for a yellow. Now, this is, I think, a good representation of how the game kind of went for the Wallabies. Now, all through the week, they'd been talking about how Caleb Clark, he'd been getting a lot of attention for his previous game in the second match, and the Wallabies come out and they just say, we're going to kick to him. We're going to put that pressure on him. And to their credit, at the start they did. Their first two kicks go right to Caleb Clark. However, their second kick, at the 3rd minute mark, they make a stupid mistake. I mean, that's what I mean. It was a very good representation. You know, the idea was there, but the execution was poor. He hits them in the air. It's very blatant. Clear yellow, gets sent off, and then from there, All Blacks just take over. They march their way down, and in the 5th minute, they get an overlap, but Tui Inukuafe, sorry if I butchered his last name, for the All Blacks, one of their props, could have given the ball out wide, but decides to keep it and barely powers over the line, which is good, because if he hadn't, there would have been a lot of backlash over not passing it wide. Then, a little bit more time goes. 9th minute, yellow card on Jordie Barrett. He basically elbows the Wallabies 15. And not much I can say about that. It was a yellow card fence. A little reckless on Jordie Barrett's part, but really the All Blacks handled it pretty well, and they still had a couple minutes left on their yellow card, so they were fine. And just to nail that point home, at the 11th minute mark, Dane Cole almost scores off of a beautiful winger-like try, being the hooker that he is and as fast as he is. I really wish he had put the ball down. So basically, Richie Mo'unga, who had a great game, and I'll get to that, just a cross-field kick, and Dane Coles almost wins it and dots it down, but he didn't have full control. I agree with the ref's decision. It's not like anybody cares about what I think, but he didn't have control, so it's fair. And then Caleb Clark, 3 minutes later, almost scores for the All Blacks as well. Just powers, and he gets super, super close, but you can tell he just never dots the ball down and gets his feet taken out. Real shame. I think this today was a little bit quieter. Well, not today. That game was a little bit quieter for Caleb Clark. I still thought he played well. It's just the attention was pretty much in him. So he had his moments, but nothing too crazy. I'm still waiting for him to get his first test try, because I think he's gonna be a good winger. Anyways, 21st minute, Richie Mo'unga scores his first try of the match. Now, this was beautifully done. I've always loved watching Richie Mo'unga. He's very intelligent on the rugby pitch. And there's been a lot of the debate between whether or not Beauden Barrett or Richie Mo'unga should have been the 10. But personally, I think Mo'unga deserved it. He's more of a 10 than Barrett is. Barrett can play both 15 and 10. So I think that was the right decision. And it just shows, Mo'unga has a great read, realizes that he's got a front rower, I think, guarding him off the blind side, and just uses his pace to get around him. And then all he has to do is just beat the number 10 for the Wallabies to score a try. Now, quick side note, I think part of the reason that All Blacks were able to be so dominant this week was their 10 and their 12 were making their test debut. Now, understandably, their 12, Matsumua, got injured, and I'm not too sure about what happened to James O'Connor, but I know he couldn't play for some reason. So they brought those two, Noah Lolosio, and I can't remember the 12's name, but it just showed. It was almost fitting that the Wallabies were wearing a green jersey because that's the way they looked. They looked very green. They looked like they didn't have the experience, and the All Blacks were just punishing the young, untested Wallabies team. And so, yeah, on first try for Richie Mo'unga, he comes up against the 10 after he makes that a beautiful read that he can beat the front rower with his speed, and then just takes a step close to the line and is in for his first try. Great work by Richie Mo'unga. I mean, he's a magician. It's crazy. And then the 27th minute, he scores his second try. So pretty soon thereafter. And he actually almost got a third closer to halftime, which was pretty cool. But his second try, like I just said, there's been some debate over whether or not Beauden Barrett or Richie Mo'unga should have been 10. But what's the matter? They just switched it up this game. And this play, I should say. Beauden Barrett takes the pass, what would usually be Richie Mo'unga, puts a little chip over. And where Beauden Barrett usually would be, Richie Mo'unga is he catches the ball and just has a beautiful, I think, runs around a bit, around the defenders a little bit, and is able to just use his pace to get down and score his second try. Again, brilliant work by Richie Mo'unga. A nice kick from Beauden Barrett. Just showed how great those two are, how lucky the All Blacks are to have so much talent on their team. 30th minute, Dane Coles gets over for a try of his own. I should say his first try of the game that was actually allowed. Not much to it on this try. I think really it's just the All Blacks had the momentum. They were in close. They got the kick to the corner. They get the line out. They win it, and they just do a maul. And you can just, as soon as the maul is formed, you can tell what's going to happen. You know that the All Blacks are going to score. It's just a matter of who, and Dane Coles puts it down. Good on him for scoring. That was pretty much it for the half. Second half, first quarter of it, I actually got to hand it to the Wallabies. They came out strong. Noah Lolosio scores on his debut, and it was pretty much the most interesting moment for the Wallabies. And they actually looked like they might have a bit of momentum their way, but that's it. Good for him for scoring on his debut. I wish I could score on debut for a team against the All Blacks. That would be awesome. So I'm sure that was a very special moment for him. And then nothing really happens until the 60th minute, where Richie Mo'unga gets a penalty conversion. Well, just a penalty kick, and he gets the 3 points. Now, I should mention, it's interesting to note that the third quarter of the game, nothing really happened, and it seems like this has been happening with the All Blacks in the past few games. They have successful quarters, especially Bledisoe Cup 2. They were successful, and then that last quarter, they kind of took it off. Nothing happened. It's not like they were getting scored on or getting beat down. It's just they didn't put up any points. They didn't increase the pressure or anything like that. Everything just kind of was a little flat, if that makes sense. And that seemed to happen in this game in that third quarter there. They kind of almost took a break, which was very weird. It's not to say they didn't do some good things. It's just there was really just back and forth with no tries, no conversions, no penalties up until Richie Mo'unga hit the kick in the 60th minute. But then things picked back up. 70th minute, scrum down on the Wallabies 5 meter, I think it was. And Hoskins Satutu picks and goes, blindside. Makes a pass to Rieko Ioane, and he actually put the ball down this time. So, thank God. Good for him. I mean, he's probably been wanting to correct, his mistake in the media's eyes. Everybody was kind of remembering him for his mistake of not putting the ball down. So good for him for scoring, getting back to his old ways. And not much else to say about that. Jordy Barrett, 74th minute, scores the last try of the game. Really, there's not much to this try. I mean, he just gets a good pass going into space and just uses his pace all the way to the line. Just shows how fast he is. I think he's been one of the more informed players this year. Been playing great both for the Hurricanes and for the All Blacks as well. Overall, just good, clean try. Got the ball down, and that was the last score of the game. And really, it was the only other thing was at the 80th minute, there was a yellow to Shannon Frizzell, but I don't even really remember it because it was so late in the game and it didn't matter. So, really, overall thoughts, like full time, the All Blacks retain the Bledisoe Cup again for the 18th year in a row. I mean, they've just been so dominant when it comes to being against the Wallabies. Not much else to say to that. I mean, 18 years in a row speaks for itself. However, it is interesting. They got their biggest win over the Aussies ever. 43-5. This is quite substantial, so I can understand that. But it just kind of showed, and the inexperience of the Wallabies really showed in this game. Not their fault. They hadn't had a test, and some of them are just getting started. So naturally they'll grow, and I'm excited to see the Wallabies in the future. They look like they could be a huge threat in the coming years, but obviously right now they're still kind of building. Other than that, I mean, yeah, there's nothing more to that. All Blacks just put the boots to them, just showed some real class, showed why they have been considered the best team for a long time. And the Wallabies, I think they'll come back. They got another game this week. I think they'll improve. I think they'll have a better showing. But, it's hard to take a loss like that and kind of feel, good about that game. But there were good signs about that game. And if there's nothing that you can take away, you can at least take that they're getting the experience they need. Anyways, guys, that's my breakdown of the third match of the Bledisoe Cup. All Blacks retain the Bledisoe Cup this year, and I believe they play again this Saturday. I'll be doing a breakdown video hopefully earlier in the week, and the teams got named. I'm still kind of deciding whether or not I'm going to do a kind of prediction video, see if I can test that out, see how it goes. But anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think. Any feedback on these kind of videos is much appreciated, and of course, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks, guys. Peace.